of freedom, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of a dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake.
I take the opportunity of welcoming you all for our 131st Friends on Same Wavelength meeting, Anna Nagar chapter. It is happened to be a endowment lecture of late Srimati Rangamani Garu, wife of late Sri M.L. Swami Garu, our founder and my mentor. It gives me a great pleasure in welcoming you all, our own Fastful chapter, as well as other chapter members who have come to attend today's lecture. Rangamani madam, she is such a nice and a gentle lady. Whenever I visit California, she is very hospitable and she always inquires about our Chennai chapter and has got all praise for our Chennai chapter, the way we conduct our lectures. And she says she's following all our meeting summary sent in those days. And she always used to attend our Cupertino Fastful meetings regularly, and she's always by the side of M.L. Swami Garu, taking care of him very much. And she's very, very hospitable, gentle, and humorous. It's a great pleasure today to have our endowment lecture of hers. Now, I take the opportunity regarding welcoming our speaker of today, Professor Dr. R.V.S.N. Sharma, who happens to be our Vice President, who has been of great help and guidance to me conducting our meetings. Such a busy man and highly qualified medical consultant with MD, MSc, double FRCP with a lot of fellowships from America. Not only in medical field, he has got great knowledge on Vedas, scriptures, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and whatnot. Any subject for that matter, he has got the capacity to lecture extempore or any subject given to him. It's a great pleasure that he took some time to deliver lecture for today's meeting. And the topic he has chosen is the seer, the seen, and the seeing, based on Ek Sloki of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Great Adi Shankaracharya, Eka Sloki, he has taken, and he is going to highlight on that particular topic. And it gives me a great pleasure, once again, welcoming all our other chapter members for today's meeting. Kindly go through and give your feedback after completion of our lecture. And after the lecture also, please stay back. We are going to have an open mic session with all our members to discuss about our future plans of our Fastful. And now I think it's a time for me to hand over to our Joint Secretary Anand Kumar to tell more about our speaker, Professor Dr. R.V.S.N. Sharma. Over to Anand Kumar, please go ahead. Anand Kumar, over to Anand Kumar.
Good evening, friends. Dr. R.V.S.N. Sharma, our Vice President, an accomplished doctor by profession, with abiding interest in Indian philosophy and Telugu poetry, is going to explain the seer, the seen, and the seeing, Ekasloki of Adi Shankara at this 131st monthly meet of our Anna Nagar Fastful as Srimati late Rangamani endowment lecture. A detailed biodata of the speaker has already been circulated, and all are eagerly waiting to hear him with great expectations as usual. I have come across many meetings starting with a silent prayer. A silent introduction can be best introduction of Dr. Sarma because he's a phenomenon who cannot be put in a nutshell. Devotion of both the Sarma brothers to our founder, Sri M.L. Swami Garu, and his wife, Srimati Rangamani Garu, is exemplary. Over to Dr. Sarma Garu, accompanied by Sri S.V. Ramamurthy Garu, for a wholesome talk for the next 1 hour.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. And that is a very befitting way of informing the audience about a known person. You can see in the picture our mentor of FOSWL, Sri M.L. Swami Garu, along with our leader of the chapter, my brother, Dr. Sharma Garu. And of course, Madam Rangamani Garu, as has been told, is an exemplary woman who cares for others more than anything else. And I have experienced it personally when I visited them at their home. So my humble reverence to both Sharma Garu, Sri M.L. Swami Garu, as well as Rangamani Garu. And this is an endowment oration, and orations do not require any discussions. Only sandehas or the doubts can be clarified. Okay. Now, what is the talk of today? Drid, Drisya, Viveka, the seen, seer, and the seeing. First of all of us should understand that we are no super than anyone. We are no different from anyone. We are no exemplary than anyone. We are as humble as anyone. That is the fundamental message of Vedanta and our philosophy. Then that automatically leads us to a situation called universal brotherhood. Sarva Manava Samanatva, Sarva Jantu Jiva Samanatva, Sarva Bhratrutva, the brotherhood, universal brotherhood. This message of Adi Shankaracharya pins down the essential ingredient that all of us have to ingrain ourselves in our minds and live with that concept for the rest of our lives. Most of us are doing, we are very glad about that. But those of us who are still have a doubt about that, this should be a very good starting point for them to get into those details. Here again, there are many learned people, madams and sirs in this group, and my obeisance to all of them. And my pranams, it may look very basic for some of you. Please bear with me if I am not too explicit or too deep into the discussion, because I want to cater it to the general audience. Okay, I start with a prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. My revered Guru, Adi Shankaracharya, and Vedavyasa, of course, Sadasiva Samarambham, Vyasa Sankara Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Now we are going to get into a discussion mode, and Murthy, I'm sure he is ready for that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm.
In reality, we are all Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. But the moment somebody asks me, you immediately so and so Sharma, this qualification, that my this one, so many children, grandfather, all that I will tell, isn't it? But we don't remember the underlying thing that we are the Satchit Ananda Swarupa. This we should never forget. The idea is to get into that. Murthy, can you see there are 5 attributes of human beings? What are they?
The
Asti,
first is for 5
Asti.
koshas.
No,
5
no, not
koshas.
koshas, whatever I've written. Asti, Asti, Bhati,
Pardon? No.
Priyam, Nama, Rupa. Can you see my presentation?
Okay, come.
Can you see my
Okay.
presentation?
Yeah, yeah. Asti, Bhati,
Priyam,
Priyam,
Nama, Rupa.
and
Okay,
Nama, Rupa.
Rupa. Always we are focused on the Nama and the Rupa. What is Nama? Nama is the name of an object. For example, the Nama of this one is a pen, right? I'm showing you a pen, and immediately when I say a pen, you all understand. The Rupa is, even if I don't say the Nama, I show you and ask you, what is this? Suppose I show you and ask you, what is this?
It's a mobile.
Yeah, immediately without, I didn't tell what it is, but I showed the Rupa. So we realize the objects by the means of two important things. One is the Nama, the other is the Rupa. Nama is connected to which Indriya of yours? Nama is connected to which Indriya? Murti.
Ear, ear, ear.
Ear.
Ear, ear.
Rupa is connected to which
Ear.
Indriya?
It's eyes,
Yeah,
eyes,
so
chakshu.
these are the two primary organs through which we experience the world. In fact, the world is experienced by all the five Indriyas, predominantly by the ear and the eye. These play an important role in human beings. But there are three other things written here: Asti, Bhati, and Priyam. What are they? Asti, Bhati, and Priyam. Asti is existence absolute, which is the Sat. Bhati is the glow or the Prakasha or the Chaitanya, which is the Chit. Priyam is the Ananda. Satchidananda, put in a simpler way, is called Asti Bhati Priyam. We are a manifestation of, an embodiment of, a personification of Asti Bhati and Priyam. But unfortunately, we cling to our name and form. Is it required, name and form, Murthy? Is it required?
To identify ourselves, name and form is required. For Varalini,
Yeah, in the Vyavaharika world, in the transactional world, we do require the name and form, but we have to go beyond, transcend the name and form, and understand the real nature, Asti, Bhati, and Priyam. Why should I do that? Why not I get stuck to my name and form? What is wrong in that? The answer is in the next two lines. To get rid of our unending misery, to be ever in permanent joy. Okay? To get rid of my unending misery and to get into a permanent mode of joy. Akhanda Ananda. Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Paramananda Prapti. So on the left side, you can see in vernacular, my mother tongue. Don't worry about that. The talk is going to be only in English, and the Sanskrit also, if at all it is coming here and there, I will explain. Concentrate on the matter rather than on the language. Okay. Now let's go to the next level. Now, this is based on the Ekasloki of Shankaracharya and the Dridrisya Viveka of Shankaracharya. Both the works are from Shankaracharya. I don't know whether we'll find enough time for both the one verse from each. Ekasloki, of course, is only one verse. And we will start with the Dridrisya. Depending on the time, we may enter into Ekasloki or we may do it at a different point. And you see three great names here: Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada, Vidyaranya Swami, and Bharati Tirtha Swami. There are claims that this Dridrisya Viveka is written by any one of them. Maybe Adi Shankaracharya, or maybe Vidyaranya, maybe Bharati Tirtha. My guess is it is from Vidyaranya Swami, but majority of the times it is said from Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada. No matter who is the author of that, the message is very profound and very important for us. Now, the Advaita school of philosophy promises you that you are Brahman by yourself. When? Right now. Where? Right here. In whom? Right in yourself. Why? Then I am not recognizing that I am not Brahman. The problem is my ignorance of the real nature of mind. That is the barrier. This is available for direct experience. We will try to see whether we will get a glimpses of the direct experience in this particular talk. Okay. Now, Murthy, be ready. Okay, this is a very important saying from a great saint. We think we are human beings in search of spiritual experience someday. We think we are human beings searching for spiritual experience somewhere in someday. But remember, we are spiritual beings in the disguise of transient human experience. We are spiritual beings in the disguise, in this cover of Sharma. I am the spiritual being in the disguise of this body, of the simple, transient, miserable, sometimes, painful experience of the human experience. I am disguised in this, being a spiritual being. What is world? Brahman, if misunderstood due to avidya or ignorance, is the word of names and forms. What is Brahman? What are names and forms? Names and forms also are Brahman, but not understood properly, but always thought that they are very, very different from one another. And bhinnatva, or the divisions, so-called divisions of caste, creed, kind, gender, race, religion, societal status, education, name any parameters. We have a laundry list of parameters. We keep on dividing ourselves, and that is the cause of our misunderstanding, and that is the cause of not realizing the Brahman. But how do I realize the Brahman? The moment the avidya, or that names and forms division, is annulled, sans avidya, or sans avidya is ignorance, nescience. Manifest Ishvara is right in everybody whom we come across. That is the fundamental message. Okay. Now, this is the hello. This is the Dridrisya Viveka Sloka. Okay. Rupam, Drishyam, Lochanam, Drik. There are 4 lines in this. There are 4 parts of this understanding. There are 4 steps to the understanding. The first step is Rupam, Drishyam, Lochanam, Drik. Tadrishyam, Driktamanasam. Drishyadhi Vrittayah Sakshi. Drigeva Nat Drishyate. I request all of you to chant along with me in your own heart these verses, this verse, so that you will get used to that. I will slowly sing it for the sake of all of us. Okay. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. Tadrishyam Driktumanasam.
Tadrishyam Driktumanasam.
Drishyadhi Vrittayah Sakshi.
Drishyadhi Vrittayah Sakshi.
Drigeva Natu Drishyate.
Drigeva Natu Drishyate.
Beautiful. One more time. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik.
Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik.
Tadrishyam Driktumanasam.
Tadrishyam Driktumanasam.
Drishyadhi Vrittayah Sakshi.
Drishyadhi Vrittayah Sakshi.
Drigeva Natu Drishyate.
Drigeva Natu Drishyate.
There are 31 verses in the Dridrisya Viveka. Some books give 46 verses, additional 15 slokas. The fundamental idea is presented as the Pratignya Vakya. That means the firm statement is made in the first verse. It covers 50% of the message. We are going to deal only with this one verse. Don't worry about the Sanskrit, as I have told you. I'm going to make it as simple as possible in simple English. But remember, the verse is so powerful to even utter that. It is wonderful. Okay. 31 verses in toto make Dridrisya Viveka. Some books give 46 verses. Nonetheless, both are correct. Okay, let us go further. Now, Murthy, there are 4 important things that we discussed yesterday. Okay. We are looking at the discussion of seer and seen. Seer means the one who sees. Seen means the one that is seen. Seer, the one who sees. Seen, the one which is seen. Okay. I'm showing this. Okay. This is the seen or the object, and your eye is the seer or the one who sees. Okay. Now, there are 4 principles all of us have to understand. One, seer and seen should be different. Seer is one and the seen are many. The seer is constant, scenes change, and seer cannot see itself. So I'll demonstrate it to you now. So I'm going to show you the book now for everybody can see. This is the Dridrishya Viveka book in Telugu. It's available in almost all Indian languages. English one is very, very popular. So what is this, Murthy? This is the
book by
no, it's a book.
Shankaracharya.
Yeah, between seer and seen, what is this?
This Drishya.
This is seen. Seen is Drishya.
Object,
Okay. Seen means Drishya.
Drishya.
Okay. Your eye is the seer
Seer.
or
Drik.
the Drik.
Drik.
Drik is your eye and Drishya is the book here. Drik, Drishya, Viveka. That's what we are starting. Seer is your eye here and seen is the book that I am showing. Okay. Is the book different from your eye or the same as your eye?
But this is a different subject. And
Yeah,
So
seer
this is-
and seen are different. Then your eye is seer is one, but I show you another object, a box, and this is another scene. Okay, this is another scene. This is another scene. Here a kerchief. So that means the scene are many and the seer is one.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, the seer is constant and the scene change. For example, I open the book, it has changed. I invert the book, it has changed. Suppose I spoil the book or I put a cover to this book, then it is changed. And the changes are in the scene and the eye is the constant thing here. Okay. The seer is constant and the scene changes. Another thing, most important thing is your eye is seeing. Can your eye see itself? Can
No,
your
it's
eye?
cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot see itself.
You may say, some of you, oh, I'm seeing in the photograph, I'm seeing in the mirror. That is all on a pratibimba. That is not your original eye. You cannot see your eye. That means the seer can never be seen by itself or himself or herself. Okay, these are the 4 principles under which this particular text is written. And the first verse encompasses all the 4 principles. The seer, again I'm telling, the seer and the seen are different. Book and Ramanamurthi's eye are different. The seer is one, Ramanamurthi's eye, and the seen are many, like this and the mobile phone. And this mobile phone or any of these things, they can change, but the seeing eye becomes, remains the one, right? Okay, agreed, Murthy, any doubt on this?
Yeah. Right.
And
Very clear.
the seer cannot see itself or herself. That also, you know, your eye cannot see your itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
And here, for the purpose of discussion, though we have 2 eyes, this is only one vision. Luckily, 2 eyes, 2 ears make only one, 2 eyes make one vision, 2 ears make one hearing. Lucky for us, otherwise we all will be confused and we'll have a right-sided world, we have a left-sided world, whole hell would have happened. Lucky that they are not different. In some diseases, of course, we have double vision. The right eye sees a separate image, left eye sees a separate image. That is a disease. Forget about that. So when we say eye, we mean it is eyes together means the vision. Okay. Now let us go one by one step. Dridrishya Vivechanam. Okay, that is where we started. So who is the subject in this? Your eye and this book. Your eye is the subject. Eye is the
Eye only.
subject. And
Okay.
this is the object.
Ob-
Object, isn't it? The subject is the seer, is the eye here. The object is the book. Okay. Subject is different from the object. Subject, eye, is different from the object, book. The subject, the eye, is one. The object that the eye sees can be many, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
The subject is constant. Your eyes are constant. Objects might change till this way. Okay. So this is the we have inculcated. Now let us go a step further. So we will now change the word subject into the word called seer. Subject can be called as seer, isn't it? Subject
Yes.
is the seer and the object is the seen. You have no difficulty in changing the words from the subject to object. Why I started subject? In every sentence you see, I read a book, I see a book, I is the subject, book is the object. You know that. That's why I started from there. Now, I removed the word subject and object. In that place, I have put the seer, the eye, the seen, the book. Seer is the drik, seen is the drishya. Drik, drik and drishya. Drik is the eye, drishya is the book or the scene. Is that okay?
Fine. Very nice.
Okay. Now, the seer, that is your eye, is different from the scene. The drik is different from the drishya. Drik is different from the drishya. Seer is different from the scene. The seer is one. The drik is one. The drishya may be many. You go to the outside for sightseeing, there are many drishyas, but you enjoy with only one vision, your vision. So the seer is one and the scene are many, right? The seer is constant and the scene changes. It is cloudy now, again it rains, it becomes sun, the scene changes. But the seeing eye remains to be the one, right? Understood? Is
Fine.
it understood by you?
Very good.
Very good. So let us go to the next step.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am,
very
replacing,
excellent.
replacing the word seer with knower. What is seeing? Seeing is knowing. If I see something, I know that. If I see the book, I know it is a book. Knowing is a factor which is associated with your mind. You see something, you say no. If you just see, you say it. Yeah, I saw it, but I did not look at it. You will say, yeah, I saw it, but I did not look at it. Yeah, I heard it, but I did not listen to it. So there is a difference, isn't it? Then the knowing component comes. The mind also is brought into the indriya perimeter. The indriya is there and the focusing mind on the indriya is there. That is why the seer becomes knower, the seen becomes known. Seer, seen, knower, known. Drik, drishya. Drik is the seer, drishya is the seen or the known. Okay, no problem.
Yes, yes. Right.
Let's go. Now we are replacing with the words in the sloka. The seer, I am calling it as the drik. And the book I am calling now anymore, I don't call them object or known or anything. I call them drishya. Drik and drishya. What is drik now? The drik is your eye. The drik is your eye. And the book is the
Drishya.
drishya. Drik, drishya, viveka. That is what we are discussing. Okay. Now, I am now changing into the present mode. That is the eye, that is what you are observing. The observer's eye is the drik and the book that is shown to you is the drishya. Okay. The eyes are different from the book. Okay, agreed?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the vision is one, but the scene are many, right? The eyes are constant, but the things that we see changes. And the fourth one I am not writing every time. You cannot see your own eye. That is, the seer cannot see himself. The drik cannot visualize itself as an object. Okay, right. Now, in fact, Murthy, do you think that you are seeing with your eye or is there something else required for you to see with the eye?
There's something inside body, the mind is required.
Yeah, the mind is required for you to see. How do I know that? Because suppose I am sleeping, my mind is sleeping, then even if somebody opens my eyes, I am not seeing. Or suppose I am anesthetized and my mind is totally put to sleep, even doctor checks my eyes with wide open eyes, I will not see anything. So the play of mind is essential for the indriyas to function. Indriyas are the sense organs. For the sense organs to function, the mind's play is essential. I gave you two examples. One example is when you are in deep sleep, mind is sleeping, but still your eyes wide open, you will not be able to see. I am anesthetized, my mind is put to sleep, my eyes wide open, doctor checks with the light. I do not know how many times he checked. That means my eye is not the real seer. My mind is the seer. Isn't it? You
Yes.
understand that very clearly?
Very good.
But
Very clear. Very,
all the same, even when the mind is there, a blind person is there. If the eye is not functioning, can you see?
no.
Yeah, that means it is a composite of the mind and the eye together are the one which are seeing the book. Now,
Yes.
you are able to say this is Shankaracharya book because why? Your eye is seeing some image, your mind is telling it is Shankaracharya. Okay, that's why immediately you are saying Shankaracharya book. Okay, now the experience of the world is not by the Indriyas alone, but with the help of the mind. The object in the world, the Indriya that is used, the eye, and the mind on top of that together, they form one sort of package through which you experience the world, isn't it?
Yes.
Now,
Yes. Yes. Very good.
let us say that our eyes can be an object. Whether eyes, earlier they were subject. In looking at the eye and the book, they were the subject. Now let us see whether they can be the object. What is the quality of an object? Object changes. Okay, object will have many states. Mind, does it have one state or many? I mean, eyes do they have many states or one state? Eyes.
I see many things when in this
They
context.
see many things. They are sleeping eyes, wakeful eyes, dreaming eyes, and then forgetful look, and then vacant eyes, and then with spects, eyes who cannot see without spects, eyes which can see with spects, eyes which are having color vision problem. So many varieties are there in the eye. That means eye is not a constant thing. Nothing constant can be something constant only we can be the inner core. So eye is not constant. Means what? Eye is the object. Then what is the subject here?
The mind.
Mind. So the mind is the drik, eye is the drishya. Okay.
Change.
Mind is the drik or the seer, and eyes are the seen or the drishya. Okay. Agreed?
Right. Right. Very
Now
good.
we have 4 rules. What are those 4 rules? Mind should be different from the eyes. If there are 2 things only, this Viveka will work. Mind, of course, is different from the eyes because I know I can hear, I can smell, I can touch, taste with my mind. But even if my eyes are closed, if you present me a book, I can touch with my hand and say, okay, this looks like a book. I will say. That means the mind is still active. So that means mind is different from the eyes. Our rule number 1 is the seer must be different from the seen, right? That is,
Yes.
then the mind is one, your mind only one mind, and the eyes that are the conditions of the eyes are many states. As I told you, closed eyes, open eyes, half closed eyes, sleeping eyes, attentive eyes, loving eyes, hating eyes. You can say eyes with power, without power, eyes with cataract, without cataract. You can say any number of varieties. So the seer is one and the seen are many. So that condition also is fulfilled. The third one is the mind is constant, but the scenes do change because the mind not only observes the eyes, it observes other inputs also. That means there are other inputs also which are coming to the mind. The observer or the subject or the seer or the drishya or the drik is the mind and drishya is the eye. This is the second level. First level, what we did, eye is the subject
Subject.
and the
Book
book
is the
is the object. Then we went and said, no, eyes cannot see on their own. There must be somebody who is helping the eyes to see, and that is my mind, and that must be the subject, and my eyes are the object.
Subject. Second level.
Is that clear enough?
Yes. Yes. Very clear.
Now we go to the third level. Here, carefully listen. All of you, please pay attention. We cannot see anything beyond mind. Normally, we cannot perceive. If you ask me who you are, I'll say I am this body plus all my mind, my intelligence, my qualification, my all that. I will say, oh, this is Sharma, that ego. That ahankara also is a function of the mind. That is myself. Okay, when you say, this is Dr. Sharma talking to you on the phone, that ahankara is there. That is the mind, of course. All of us associate ourselves with the mind, and of course the body and the indriyas associated. But there is something which is subtler than the mind, and that we have to understand. Okay. One question, Murthy. Is your mind same as my mind?
Mind different.
Definitely. Your mind is
Different.
different. You must be thinking about something. I must be thinking about something. Though we are doing the same thing, the mind is different. So if minds are different, how can I say everybody in the world is same as me? So because the minds are different, because the bodies are different, I find they are different than me. If my mind also is different, I cannot say they are same as me. So there must be something subtler than the mind, which is common to all. What is that? We would like to find out. Okay,
Okay.
let's go one step down.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Now, I have brought in a person who is the witness for the moments of your mind. What is mind? Can you tell in simple words?
Yeah.
What
Mind
is
is
mind?
mind that thinks, that perceives,
Correct.
and is a
correct.
bundle of details.
Mind is full of thoughts. Sankalpa
Yes.
Vikalpa is the mind. Technically speaking, it thinks and unthinks, thinks, jumps like a monkey from tree to tree, and no single thought is always perpetually there, and it will be ever changing. And these are called the waves of the mind. Like a wave in a sort of lake, there are waves in the mind. A sadhaka who attains a stability of the mind, there are no waves. That means mind is quiet, shanta, and then tranquil mind. Tranquil mind is a stable mind without the waves. And these are called the vritti. The functions of the mind are called the vritti. Okay.
Vritti.
Are you ever sorry anytime? Do you feel anytime sorry?
Definitely. Many times sorry,
Yeah.
happiness.
That is
everything
one
there.
vritti. The other vritti is you feel happy very much. Okay.
some-
You feel that you wanted to do something, not do something. Okay.
Yes.
You like something, you don't like something, you feel hurt by somebody, you feel happy when somebody praises you. All
Yes.
these are the vrittis, are the waves in the mind. And who is telling that you are happy? How do you know that you are happy?
Somebody inside.
Yeah, there is
says-
someone inside is telling you that you are happy. In fact, when you say you are happy, it is not that you are happy. You are known to be happy by that. You are made known to be happy by somebody else. Likewise, if you keep that little distance between the inner sakshi or the witness and the mind, you enjoy peace. Because if somebody scolds me, I feel very depressed. Then I say, no. I feel, no. My mind is depressed. I am not depressed. My mind is happy. I am not happy. My mind is sorry. I am experiencing the sorry through of the mind. I am the experiencer of the sorrow. I am the experiencer of the joy. I am the experiencer of the insult. I am the experiencer of the glory that is thirst on me. Just now somebody said he's a wonderful biodata. All that is my mind only is experiencing. I know the experiencer is something else, isn't it? That is the sakshi. Okay, why
Sakshi.
did we bring this sakshi? We will see a little later. Then now the sakshi becomes the drik and the mind becomes the drishya. Now let us see the four conditions are fulfilled or not. Sakshi must be different from the mind.
Yes.
Yes, Sakshi is always one, and their mind must have many states that we have already demonstrated.
Yes.
Okay, and Sakshi will be there when the mind functions or not functions.
It is
Means
there.
what? You are in deep sleep. Mind is completely at rest. Your Sakshi is still there. He has not left your body. He is still with you. So the Sakshi will be there in spite of the mind being operating or not. The switching on and switching off is the function of the mind, but the glow of the prakash of the Sakshi is ever there. Just like the sunlight. Do you think that after 1 hour will there be sun?
No.
There is sun, but you can't see it.
Yes.
That means the Sakshi is ever shining. Because you have turned away from the sun, you will not
Yes.
see. The Earth has rotated in such a way that you are facing the other side and you are not towards the sun. So the glow is not seen. Likewise, the Sakshi is ever shining, but the mind is on and off is the problem of the mind. This is called the vritti of the mind. This is called a wave of the mind. This is called the bodha of the mind. And the pratibodha or the Sakshi, the witness is behind that. It is witnessing. And I have many bodhas, many vrittis, many states of my mind. Is that true or not?
Yes, yes. But Pratibodha is one.
Yeah, the pratibodha is the Sakshi. Let us not introduce many technical terms. We'll restrict to one technical term, call it as Sakshi. The Sakshi is the one, and that is the constant one. And the mind is having many states. Okay. Does the mind ever change or is it always constant?
It go on the changing. It's not ever constant.
Yeah, in fact, the most changing thing in the whole universe is the mind.
Mind.
If at all there is a very changing thing, that is the mind. The table here will not change so easily. The book in my hand will not change for a long time. But the mind, within no time it changes. The ever-changing mind, having many states, is the object or the drishyam. The drik is the sakshi. Okay. Is that all or is there anything else beyond the sakshi? Let us see. If something else is there, suppose there is sakshi is seen by somebody, then what will happen to Sakshi? Sakshi becomes object. He becomes object and he should be many and he should have all the changes. He should have all the differences. In fact, it is not there. We know that the Sakshi Chaitanya is one and absolute. The scriptures tell us the existence absolute, the Chit absolute is the only one it is there. So Sakshi Chaitanya is the final thing which is overseeing the mind. Now come to the present one. You are seeing this book. Okay. What is the first level of seer?
Eyes.
The eye. What is the second level of seer?
Mind.
What is the third and final level of seer?
The Sakshi, the Chaitanya.
Why should I know that? Why should I know that is the answer in the next slide I will say. Why should I know that? Because that Sakshi in me is the same as the Sakshi in you, is the same as the Sakshi in Sarmagaru, is the same as the Sakshi in every living being created on the whole universe. Okay. Universe. For that reason, we require to learn that there is a Sakshi. And that is the Atman, that is the Bhagavan, that is the Paramatma. Now, if I tell you my God is Hanuman, no, you'll say, no, he is not my God is Venkateshwara. There is a war between you and me. It happened in India. Shaivites and Vaishnavites, Shakti cult, this cult, or somebody says I worship Christ. I have a problem. Christ is not my God, and Krishna is my God. There is a problem. So to avoid that conflict, if there is an underlying knower or the Sakshi which is there, the religion becomes null and void. Then the whole thing becomes only one religion of humanity, religion of oneness, religion of international brotherhood, religion of equality, religion of sarvamanava samanatva. What else is required for peace? You tell me. What else is required for peace to enjoy that absolute state of oneness with every created thing in the world? Isn't it? Now, let us see. Now, beyond the Sakshi, there is none. How do I know there is none? Because if it is Sakshi is the object, it must be many, it must be changing, it must be manifold. It doesn't have those qualities. So the witness or the observer is the final one. There is none beyond that. So now we go back and then continue with this slokam. Okay, Dridrisya Vivekam, Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. Rupam is the form, book. Lochanam is the eye. Rupam is the Drishyam. Lochanam is the Drik. Rupam, Drishyam, Lochanam, Drik. Rupam is the Drishyam is object. Lochanam is the Drik or the subject. Rupam, Drishyam, Lochanam, Drik. Tad Drishyam, Druktu Manasam. Tat, that eye becomes Drishyam. It is the object now in the green, this one. Driktu Manasam. The drik here is the mind, manasam. Now, the eyes have taken the role of the object and the mind has come in the place of the seer or the drik. Okay, tadrishyam driktu manasam. Now, drisyadhi vrittaya sakshi. Now, the drishyam is the dhi. Dhi is the mind. What is the one who is seeing? Sakshi, Drishya, Dhivrittayaha. The modifications of the mind, the waves of the mind are the Drishya. The Drik now is the Sakshi. Okay. Now, next final part of the sloka is Drigeva Nat Drishyate. There is only Drik, that is the Sakshi. There is nothing beyond that. Drigeva Nat Drishyate. But unfortunately, this cannot be seen. Why it cannot be seen? The seer cannot see itself. The seer the eye cannot see itself. The mind cannot see itself. The Sakshi cannot see itself. That means what? The Sakshi is you only. That's why you are not able to see the Sakshi. When you are the subject, you cannot see yourself. When you are the eye cannot see itself. There is a telescope which sees everything in front in big size, but the eye, it cannot see the eye behind the telescope. There is a microscope. It sees the whole world of microorganisms underneath in the slide, but the same microscope cannot see the eye. Because the subject can never be seen by itself. Because you are that subject, you are that knower, you are that Sakshi, you are not directly witnessing the Sakshi. But we have derived and proved that you are that eternal Sakshi, Sat Chit Ananda. That is Asti Bhati Priyam. Asti is existence absolute, Bhati is the Chit absolute, and Priyam is the Ananda absolute, Satchidananda, with a package of Nama and the Rupa. Now, if I ask you, who are you? I am Satchidananda in the package of Murti.
Okay.
That's
Correct.
In the package of Sarma. Stripped of the package, I am Satchidananda.
Right.
Stripped of the differences between me and you, we are both Satchidananda. Then the question comes, there is one Satchidananda in you, there is another Satchidananda in me, there are 50 different Satchidanandas in this group. Is it possible? No, it is not possible, because they cannot be, it is unique, it is one, it is not many. Ekameva Advitiyam. It can be only one, there is no second. So this rules out the question of multiple minds are possible, multiple eyes are possible, multiple bodies are possible, multiple Sakshis are not possible. What is my scriptural validity for that? Go to the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and you see the unique without a second. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi, mam the Sakshi, you know I am the Sakshi. Sarva kshetreshu, in all the bodies. Bharata kshetra kshetrajñayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. That is the real understanding. Bhagavad Gita asserts there is only one kshetrajña. The kshetras may be many, but there is only one kshetrajña or the Sakshi Chaitanya. That is unique. This is called the non-duality or the Advaita. Who is the Sakshi? The pure consciousness. Constant Sat, bliss, Ananda, Sit, Chat, Ananda. There are no many Sakshis. There is only one Sakshi. This is what says, Drigeva Natu Drishyate. I'm going to close it in another 5 minutes with another slide. Okay. Now, what is that? We started with this. The seer and the seen are different. Yes, our seer Sakshi is different from the body and the mind. The seer is one and the seen are many. Our mind various modifications, body various changes, objects various changes, eyes and ears various changes. Agreed. Seer is constant. Seen are many. The seen changes. My mind changes. My body changes. My eye change. But the constant Sakshi does not change. And seer cannot be seen. That is the most important part of it. We cannot see the seer. That is the most important aspect. Now, I'm going to demonstrate in one more way how with this Chaitanya. Okay, now we read the sloka once again. You read after me. Okay. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik.
Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik.
Tadrishyam दृक्तुमानसम्
तदृश्यं दिक्तुमानसम्
दृश्याधिवृत्तयः साक्षी
दृश्याधिवृत्तयः साक्षी
दृगेव न तु दृश्यते.
दृगेवा न तु दृश्यते.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, all of us will chant it. Okay, this is universal. This is no one religion. This is a religion. This is a religion of humanity. It's not for any particular faith. Okay, now I'm going to show you some statements. Now you see, this book is there. To see the book, what are the things you require?
Eyes required.
And
First
the book
eye.
is required. The book is
Book is-
required. Eye is
Yes.
required. And what else is required?
Light also required.
Yeah, the medium to project this is required. That
Yes.
medium here is the light.
Light.
Okay. Supposing we are in a total dark room, you have a beautiful big eyes, and I have a beautiful Shankaracharya book. What is the use? You cannot
can't
see.
see.
So
See.
the medium, which is the Panchabhuta, either one or more of the Panchabhutas should help you, the five great elements, Mahabhutas, should help you to perceive the world. Here the light is helping me, maybe an indirect light or a Surya Kanti, whatever it is. Every light is related to the Surya Kanti only. You can trace it in your chemistry or physics. So the light is important. Now I'm making 5 statements. You carefully observe. Light is not part of the book. Is it part of the book?
No, not at all.
Is it an attribute of the book?
No,
Is light produced by the book?
not at all.
Light is independent. Light pervades all. Light pervades the book, pervades the mobile phone, pervades my kerchief, pervades the
Everything.
private, pervades the entire room or everything. Isn't it?
Yes.
So light is not part of the book. Light is not the attribute of the book. Light is not produced by this book. Light is independent. Light pervades all. Is the light limited to the boundaries of this book?
No,
Is it limited? It is beyond boundaries. That light is beyond boundaries. The light exists even when I remove the book. Is the light there or not?
it's there, very much there.
That is why you are able to see me. It is now instead of book, you are seeing me. That's all. The book is removed, object is replaced. No book or not, no book or not, it is there. The light is there. Then when you enter the room, an empty room, I ask you what is there in the room. What do you say? You have taken into an empty room and say, what is in this room, Murthy? Nothing, you will say. Okay, but there is light.
Light is there.
You forget to take notice of that. We assume that light is there. You know when it is switched off and it is dark, then put on the light, then you will say. As long as the light is there, you don't know the value of it. You don't ask for it. The light, inner light is always there. We don't seek for it. We don't look for it. It is there always. And how do I recognize that there is light? How do I prove that there is light? Do I require a big physical experiment to prove that there is light in the room?
No, no.
I am able to see the book.
That's all. Our very experience itself.
Our very experience of seeing the object is a proof of light.
Light.
Okay, we will take this analogy one step higher and then see. The chit is not part of the mind or the body. Is it a part of the mind? Chit
No.
is Chaitanya. Chit is Chaitanya. A short word for Chaitanya is chit. Chit is not, is a part of the mind.
No,
Is it an attribute of the mind?
not at all.
Is it produced by the mind?
No.
Chit is independent and chit pervades all, pervades the mind, pervades the body, pervades the indriyas, pervades the whole world. Chit is independent and pervades, just like the light pervades all. Is chit limited by my mind boundaries?
No.
It is not. Just like the light is not limited by the boundaries of the book, the chit is unlimited. That's why it is absolute. My mind sleeps. Will it sleep or not? My mind.
Mind sleep.
Yeah. Will
But
the chit sleep at that time?
No, Chit is
No, it
awake.
doesn't sleep. The chit is ever shining. Mind puts off and on, switch on and off. And that is a 8 hours time. You go to bed, deep sleep, 1.5 hours. You don't know, like a log you sleep. And you come out and tell, I slept well. Who told you that you slept well?
The Chit.
The
The
chit told
witness.
you that you slept well. Okay. Chit exists mind sleeps and chit cannot, whether the mind is there or not, chit exists. For example, a person is dead. His mind is there or not?
Physical
Person is
mind is
dead.
there. Conscious is not. Chit is not.
His
Chit
chit
is
is
not
not there in him. Do you think the chit
No.
has disappeared somewhere and went into some marketplace because this fellow is not there searching for another one? No, the chit
Yeah.
is ever there. So just like supposing I have a glass of water, is the space in the glass of water is there inside or outside the space? In the
Inside,
glass of
it's
water, is the space inside or outside?
Inside.
Outside? Outside there is space or not?
Yes, there, it's there.
That means if the glass is broken, what happened to the space?
Merges. So with the universal.
The space is always there. I only called it as space of the glass by bringing in a glass. If I don't have a glass, the space is universal.
Like this chit also spreads.
Likewise, if a person dies, the chit never dies. It becomes the universal chit. The individual chit, the individual consciousness merges with the universal consciousness. Just like the space in the cup merges with the universal space once the cup is broken. So chit always exists. Mind sleeps. Chit is not seen because why it is not seen? Chit is the subject and you cannot see your own subject. Subject cannot see itself. Eyes cannot see itself. Chit cannot be seen. But how do I experience chit? How did I experience object? How did I prove that there is light in the room? How did
Yes,
I
sir.
prove that there is light in the room? By seeing the object.
It's
Yeah, how do I know that there is Brahman? By looking at the people. If I look at the people, that is Brahman. What else is required? The sentient people, the entire creation itself is an evidence that there is Brahman. Just like the book is an evidence, seeing a book is an evidence that there is light, seeing sentient beings and people and creatures, everything is an evidence that there is Chaitanya. What else is required? So that's all. This is called the universal Chaitanya or the universal consciousness. Okay. Now,
very good.
it is going to close now. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let peace prevail on everyone. Thank you very much for the patient listening. I think we covered in 45 minutes as promised. That is nice.
Thank you very much for giving support. Very kind.
Wonderful, Sharmaji.
Tell me, sir.
Wonderful.
Tell me.
What a great lecture it was. You made such a complicated subject in such a simpler and a very amenable manner. Thank you very much for today's lecture.